Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you episode 141 here at the tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy whatever it is that you celebrate this time of year. But I am glad you guys are joining me on Christmas Day to listen to what I have to say. Now, of course, I am not recording this on Christmas because I'm actually spending Christmas with my family now that they have arrived in Japan. And of course, per Japanese tradition, I will eat fried chicken on Christmas Day. Yes, so KFC, a little bit of home for me. But if you are listening on Christmas Day, hey, have yourself a happy holiday and everything. And I'm glad that you are joining me to listen to what I have to go ahead and say. Because it's that time of year where we are getting all those Christmas specials, and they are starting to dwindle down and so forth. But the thing is, I do love Christmas specials. I love it when it's something on that's once a year that you only watch at Christmas. Particularly, I love It's a Wonderful Life. I watch it every Christmas Eve. That's my holiday tradition. But I love watching the different holiday specials that do come on. Particularly, I think ABC has that 24, 25 Days of Christmas, and they show all of my favorites on there. Just to let you guys know, a couple of my favorites are the Year Without Santa Claus, the Rake and Bass production with, the Snow Miser and Heat Miser song. I love that. I love all the music. I love the story. I think that's great. The Town That Santa Forgot. That's a great little short. You should go, guys, check it out. And of course, I love A Christmas Carol. My three favorite versions being the Patrick Stewart version, the Muppet version, and of course, the Disney version. But here's the thing: is that all of these are specials that are pertaining to specifically Christmas and a story about Christmas. Unfortunately, what we also get around this time are television shows that focus on an event that's happening in Christmas or at Christmas with an ongoing story from our shows. And as you know, I am obviously talking about both Super Sentai and Power Rangers. Now, here's the thing. Now, there are great Christmas movies and Christmas specials out there that are really not about Christmas. For example, Die Hard being the prime example. It's an action movie that happens to take place at Christmas. Batman Returns. It's an action movie that happens to take place at Christmas. They use Christmas as an aesthetic. But far too often, television shows will take the Christmas aesthetic, but then they have to mold whatever story they're trying to tell to be a Christmas story to put out whatever that Christmas message is that they want to go ahead and give, whether it's anti-consumerism, goodwill towards men, or the go read the Bible message, which is less and less as the years go, it seems. Nevertheless, I never like it when a show has to craft its story to fit into the Christmas theme, whereas Christmas can't just be happening and they're telling their stories. Now I want to go ahead and start with kind of Super Sentai on this because it's kind of an interesting thing that they do with their Christmas specials. So the first time they actually started doing anything remotely related to a Christmas special was in Die Ranger, particularly episodes 42, 43, and 44. Now, much like both Die Hard and Batman Returns, these are events that are taking place during Christmas time, but they are not Christmas stories. And I think that's a good way of doing it. If you guys have the DVDs, and I hope you have bought the DVDs for Die Ranger, go ahead and watch these episodes because it's the aesthetic. It's happening at the same time, but it's not a Christmas story. It's not about Christmas. And it's not about saving Christmas. Let me just point out really quick, there are a lot of movies out there that are talking about saving Christmas. Of course, we got Ernest Saves Christmas, Kiss Saves Christmas, and of course, Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. I never understand why Christmas needs to be saved. It's not going anywhere, I don't think, no matter what Fox News tells you. But I am just always curious why there's always a movie or a special about saving Christmas. I think even the Nutcracker special they did for the Care Bears, like, what about saving Christmas? And Nostalgia Craig did it right. Yeah, what about Christmas? It's not in danger or anything. But that's going on a tangent right here. But again, like in Die Ranger, it's happening at that time. Now, Kaku Ranger, the next series, there is a Christmas episode. Now, I have not seen that episode just because I haven't gotten the torrents. Of course, there are no Western DVDs at this point. But given that the title is called The Confused Santa, I'm going to assume and I could be wrong, and correct me if I am, that is a episode that is crafted towards a Christmas theme. That it's not just the Kaku Ranger having some adventure against their enemies at Christmas, but a Christmas story that happens to have the Kaku Ranger in there. Now, I of course been following recent Sentai and their Christmas specials. I've watched all the Christmas episodes from Geiki Ranger up to Tokyuger, and I'm going to be catching up with Ninja here soon. Now, here's the thing. Okay, so Tokyuger is the most recent, so I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. Now, that is a three-story arc in which things are happening at Christmas, but they end it with a Christmas message of some sort. Because, again, it takes place at Christmas. There's something important going on, but they have to end it with a Christmas party and talking about the meaning of Christmas in a non-religious way. Even when we did the Gokaiger episode, we had the premiere of Gokai Christmas, which it was great and all that. They still had some sort of Christmas message in there, as opposed to, again, events happening at Christmas. Now, I like the way Go-Onger did it, because the thing about Go-Onger is that, yes, it is a Christmas story, but they have a 5 Megazord battle at the end of the episode to save Christmas and everything. So, here's the thing about Sentai that I find different from Power Rangers, and we'll get into Power Rangers here, is that there are episodes that do take place at Christmas, but there are stories that are crafted towards a Christmas theme. But what they've been doing with it recently is that they've made it where once the Christmas episode hits, then stuff gets real. Basically, that after the Christmas episode, that's when the final story arc takes place. People start dying, Megazords start getting lost, and everything like that. So once the Ninja Christmas special has aired, I believe it's this weekend, then, or maybe has already aired, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, guys, I'm way behind on Ninja at the moment. Then we're going to get into the actual story arc. And I wonder, what does that actually say about Sentai as a whole, where it's, yeah, we're going to get up to the Christmas special, and then once the Christmas special is over, then we're going to give you the really good stuff. Because it seems to be signaling, this is just fluff, it's just, Christmas episode, it doesn't really matter, don't really have to go ahead and watch it. Now, I'm sure that's probably not what they're intending to say, but it kind of comes off that way, at least as I'm seeing it here. Because, again, the thing about Christmas specials that really bother me is that they have to be there. You have to have a Christmas special. And shows don't. There are certain shows that you don't need a Christmas special or are not catered to a Christmas atmosphere. I mean, of course, Star Trek never had a Christmas episode. I mean, they had the movie, and that was at Christmas, but it wasn't, again, anything related to Christmas, really. But that's the closest I ever got into the series. I think Kirk talked once about it's being Thanksgiving, so make sure everybody has turkey sandwiches and all that. But I think it's the closest they've actually gotten to those holidays. Oh, and of course, Voyager was an ornament on a Christmas tree, thanks to Quinn. Um, but like, I don't understand why television shows need to shoehorn in a Christmas episode. And Gokaiger, excuse me, not Gokaiger, but Super Sentai in general is a lot different because of the way they treat Christmas here in Japan. Believe it or not, I'm working Christmas Day because it's not a big thing for them. Emperor's birthday, which is the day I'm recording this, yeah, everybody's off work because it's the Emperor's birthday. But Christmas, oh yeah, you guys got to go ahead and work on Christmas, which I find not a bit odd and everything, just I'm not used to it and stuff. I'm used to not working Christmas and all that, because it's more of a fun, somewhat lovers holiday, family holiday, as it is to any type of religious holiday, which is hilarious in Geiki Ranger, where they actually had reference to that, where the monster crashes a Christmas service at church, and it's like, oh, Jesus-san, and I don't know why, that just kind of cracked me up. Jesus-san cracks me up. But let me kind of get into the meat here of what I'm really talking about, and it's got to be the Power Ranger Christmas specials. Now, here's the thing. I haven't watched the Christmas specials since Zeo, for a couple of reasons. One, because the last Christmas special they had was in Zeo, and the recent ones I really don't care for, because they actually do fall outside of continuity technically, and we'll get into that here. But let's kind of go down the list on what Power Rangers has done. And of course, most infamous is Alpha's Magical Christmas, which I never saw, but I saw reviews of it because, well, first of all, I don't want to see it because it's about Alpha. I don't hate Alpha. I really don't. He's okay. He's not annoying. Doesn't bother me. Alpha 6 and Turbo, yeah, he bothered me a little bit, but Alpha is an okay character. I have nothing wrong with him. But when the special was advertised as Alpha singing Christmas carols with children, well, that's not a story I want to go ahead and see because it has nothing to do with the Power Rangers. And it doesn't even make sense within universe, which is why some people say it is out of continuity, and I tend to agree because I think there is some sort of timeline confusion as far as Tommy being the Green Ranger or the White Ranger, but since I never saw it and I don't really care, it doesn't really matter to me. And I don't see anybody fighting for Alpha's Magical Christmas. I think people look at Alpha's Magical Christmas on the same level as the Star Wars Holiday Special with less Harrison Ford, basically. Um, but it was something that was released on VHS, and people just didn't, it didn't really matter. Then we go into I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger, and that one is confusing because it has a number of continuity glitches as far as with Cat and where it takes place in the timeline and everything. And it's a very contrived episode because. So basically, as I recall, and I haven't watched this episode recently. I finally got a hold of the DVDs, but I didn't get a chance to actually watch them recently. Um, the whole thing is like Rita and Zed are messing with Santa, and the Rangers have to go save Santa. Okay, I get it. That's usually the premise of a lot of these things. But it's very. Well, first of all, it's boring. To be honest, is that they go up there to the North Pole and they can't morph because of all the magical energy up there. I don't understand the point of having a Power Rangers Christmas special without them becoming the Power Rangers, because then it ceases being a Power Rangers Christmas special and becomes Six Teenagers Save Christmas, which is a story we've seen hundreds and hundreds of times. Um, I don't understand why they felt the need to go ahead and do that. And it seems at this particular time in the franchise that they felt they needed to do a Christmas special. Why does Power Rangers need to do a Christmas special? I don't get that. Why does any show need to do a Christmas special? It's not really a ratings thing. It's not during sweeps. I mean, just because Family Matters has a "It's a Wonderful Life" parody with Steve Urkel doesn't necessarily make it a good show, or it's necessary to bring in viewership, because it's actually odd to try and bring in viewership to a Christmas special, being that the aesthetic is completely different and the characters typically act a little bit different than they would throughout the entire series. Like we've seen it, like I've hated you all year, but now it's Christmas and we will be friends for this one day, and then in the very next episode we'll completely forget about what happens. Um, and something else too about the I Dream of a White Ranger is I wish they would set up the mythos for Santa in the Power Rangers universe, because Santa is a thing. We know that. Santa is a character within Power Rangers. He's got magic and he travels the world giving toys. But I want to know, what is his origin? Is he an orphan like in most interpretations? Is he St. Nicholas? Is he Kris Kringle? Who is he in the Power Rangers? They don't really explore that. They don't really discuss that. And for an episode where they're saving Santa, it's like they assume we know who Santa is, and that's true, but they don't want to give him an interesting origin or backstory to where his interaction might be more interesting with the Power Rangers. You see what I'm saying, guys? It's like they say we need a Christmas episode. We'll have the Rangers save Santa, but we're not going to have them morph or do anything meaningful. Because how interesting would it be if they went to the North Pole to fight a bunch of Tangas, morphed, and meet Santa? And maybe have that little thing like, we can't tell you our secret identities, and Santa's like, I know everybody, you're Tommy, and you wanted this as a kid, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's cliche, but it actually gives us a lot more than what the episode gave us. I mean, I think the most interesting highlight of that is Tommy kissing Kimberly, which is something they don't let them do in Power Rangers anymore. You don't see kiss anymore. They won't let Wes and Jen kiss, but I digress. Now, the next one actually is not that bad, to be quite honest. Is A Season to Remember from Zeo. You know, a lot of people hate this episode, and they say that it is not part of continuity because of what happens, and what's the framing device of the episode. So basically, the framing device is that we have an elderly Tommy telling his grandson a story of how the Zeo Rangers, had an issue at Christmas. And it's, Interesting how Prince Sprocket seals all the gifts and turns everybody against each other, and we actually try to learn a little bit about Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, but we really don't learn anything about them because we have to acknowledge that these other holidays exist, but not for one moment will we actually discuss the religious text or what they're about, unless we're Rugrats. Then we can turn the babies into Hebrews. I mean, come on, guys. It's so amazing to me that you can have um, you can have Rugrats do the Moses story. You have the Simpsons do the Moses story and all those other Bible stories. But when you have Power Rangers, you can't even mention the word Jew or Hebrew or anything like that. It's got to be straight up a menorah. That's it. And I just find that odd. I don't really get it. It's kind of like Captain America cartoons that don't feature Nazis. You notice that Captain America cartoons have Hydra, and yes, he did fight Hydra, but Hydra was a branch off of the Germans, off of the Nazis, and yet we tend to forget that we fought the Nazis in World War II when it comes to cartoons. But I digress once again. And it's actually, again, it's not really that bad of a story. You know, Bulk and Skull have to find the Fruitcake Bandit to find out it's Goldar and Rito, and they made a giant fruitcake out of all the ones that they've stolen. And of course, you know, they gotta learn a lesson about getting together and stuff. It's not really that bad, but I actually do find the most interesting part of that to be the framing device. That we actually go into the future where Tommy and Catherine are elderly, they're married, they have grandchildren, and their child is a Power Ranger. And people, here's the thing, people don't like this because of that. Not the fact that it's a Christmas special, or they think it's a bad Christmas special, but because of that. And you know, I'm going to say this again. Once again, my hatred for RPM. Before we found out it was an alternate universe, I wanted to say to myself, it's got to be an alternate timeline. It's got to take place within another universe where Power Rangers doesn't exist. But I had to accept at that time, before Samurai came out and clarified it, that it happened within the Power Rangers universe, and sometime in the future there was going to be the Vengix plot, you know. And actually, that was the last thing we saw, and that's like, well, okay, so Vengix did take over, and that is continuity. And I felt better, of course, when we came back and said, no, it's not part of continuity. I mean, it is, but it's a separate timeline, much in the way that the Abrams films are with the Star Trek. Nevertheless, people want to discount this episode, again, not because it's a Christmas episode, but because Tommy and Catherine get married and they have a kid. Now, some people say that Down Thunder contradicts this, but how? He never ends up with Haley or anybody else, and he becomes a teacher. There's no reason why Tommy can't hook it up with Kat sometime in the future. And of course, some people are pissed off because it's not Kimberly, but I'm with Linkara on that one. You know, it's a high school romance. Well, I mean, actually, Linkara was for the Kimberly thing, but you know what? I never did like Kimberly that much. I actually like Catherine a little bit better, so you can get me on that. Anyway, my point I want to make about this episode before we kind of move on is you can't discredit it just because you don't like it. I made that mistake. Just because it's Tommy and Catherine hooking up in the future and having grandchildren doesn't mean you should discount it just because you don't like it. Again, I felt that way about RPM. I had to accept it. I felt better when it wasn't the case. But until somebody tells me that Tommy and Catherine don't actually get married or hook back up or wherever the case may be, I'm going to count as part of continuity. Now, then we have a long gap of no Christmas specials, which is great because, again, Power Rangers is not a show that's conducive to Christmas specials. There's no reason to have a Christmas special for Power Rangers or even Sentai for that matter. I mean, I don't understand the point of having them. But when we got back to the Saban era, or the Neo Saban era, then we decided we had to have Christmas specials. Samurai gave us Christmas Together, Friends Forever, horrible title. Super Samurai gave us Stuck on Christmas. Then Megaforce gave us the Robo Night Before Christmas, which is kind of a clever title. And then we didn't get one for Super Megaforce, thank goodness. Although you think they would actually do that to get the Go-Kai Christmas in there to sell toys, but whatever. And then now Dino Charge has the Race to Rescue Christmas because, once again, Christmas needs saving. Now, I have not bothered with any of the Neo Saban episodes because here's the thing. These episodes are released primarily on DVD, and they are counted as separate holiday specials. I think even the Halloween special for Samurai was treated as a clip show with monsters having a Halloween party in the afterlife, which is an interesting thing that I actually need to evaluate at a later time. Nevertheless, I just don't feel the need to watch these because they don't advance the story. They don't tell us anything new about our characters. I think Robo Knight travels to Africa to learn about Christmas, but that's about it. I mean, if there was anything meaningful from these episodes, I would know it because it would appear in the next episode of the series proper. But these episodes fall in the hiatus between the end of Samurai and the beginning of Super Samurai. And which again, Nickelodeon really screwed us with the continuity on those episodes to begin with. But again, they're released on DVD, released on digital media, and they mean nothing to the overall arc or plot of the series. So I just don't understand why we have to have them. I mean, what is the rule saying we have to have a Christmas episode? We didn't have it between Zeo and Samurai, so why is it something we have to go ahead and have now? And why do the Power Rangers have to celebrate Christmas? I mean, why can't we get in the Power Rangers Hanukkah special? Why can't we get the Power Rangers Kwanzaa special? My goodness, I would love to see a Kwanzaa special just to find out what the heck it is. I mean, you guys seen Futurama, right? Kwanzaa bot handing out those books. What the hell is Kwanzaa? He's like, I've been handing these out for 600 years. I mean, come on, teach us about Kwanzaa in Power Rangers. I mean, that I would like to see that. Or heck, with all the anti-Muslim sentiment in the country nowadays, teach us about Muslim religion. What is it? Is it Ramadan or is that something else? Am I mixing something up? The point is, we need to have maybe a Muslim special on Power Rangers to say, hey, the Power Rangers don't hate Muslims, so whatever. And then there's my soapbox for that. I keep getting off a tangent here because unfortunately there is no substance to these Christmas specials, to these Christmas episodes. And again, I don't know why we have to go ahead and have them because there's not much to say. Do I love Christmas? Yes, but I don't like Christmas being forced on my television show because think about it for a second. Let's look at Megaforce just for a moment. The Robo Night Before Christmas. Now, I don't know what the budget was for that and what mandates they had, yada yada, and all that kind of stuff. But if they took the budget from that one episode and just cut out completely, maybe they could have reallocated those funds to, oh, I don't know, the Super Mega Force Final, to better editing, to better, directors, to better script writing, actually make their product better by throwing more money at it. I know that doesn't solve all the problems, but oh my goodness, they could have at least hired a better editor with a little bit of extra cash, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like that these are is that they are a waste of money. I mean, how much money did Alpha's Magical Christmas actually bring in from VHS sales? How much did I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger bring in from VHS sales? Heck, Alpha's Magical Christmas, I'm Dreaming of a White Ranger, and Season to Remember were all on a VHS collection released, I think, in 1999 when they were doing that power playback stuff that never panned out. Is it really profitable to put out the Christmas specials? And again, are they mandated by the networks to do that? Because what I find odd is a lot of people have been making comparisons with the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers on Nickelodeon, and those shows are almost night and day, despite being on the same network and being similar franchises from a similar point in time. But again, the way they work is so different. The Turtles haven't had a Christmas special. They're a lot darker. They put a lot more effort into what they're doing. And frankly, they have a much better cast. Whereas Power Rangers, Neil Saban sucks. I'm going to tell you guys that. Dino Charge is the exception. It's much better than anything else, but those 4 years we had between Samurai and Super Mega Force just really sucked. And they didn't mandate that the Ninja Turtles had DVD only Christmas releases, or that they even had Christmas episodes. I have not seen a Christmas episode for that Ninja Turtle show. And then again, I haven't watched it in 8 months, but then again, I could be wrong. Who knows? So, yeah, guys, I mean, I know it's a lot about nothing that I'm talking about, but again, these Christmas episodes just really have nothing to them that's really interesting. If they have to do Christmas specials, I want to see what they've been doing with Sentai in the past. Is where, oh, we're having an event. It happens to take place at Christmas, so we can use the lighting, we can use the colors and all that. But don't even mention Christmas. I mean, Die Hard, yeah, came in. It's a Christmas party. That's the setup for the movie. But beyond that, it doesn't factor into the plot whatsoever. Batman Returns. It factors into Cobblepot's plan to, take the children and the holiday season. But again, it's not the Christmas movie with Batman in it. It's not Batman Christmas special. Heck, even Christmas with the Joker and the animated series, that at least had some creativity to it. And maybe that's what I'm asking for, some creativity and a reason to give a damn. That's what I'm asking for. Let me give a damn about these Christmas specials. Don't let me skip these episodes. I mean, when your episode's called Christmas Together, Friends Forever, I automatically say, I don't want to see that. Because it doesn't sound like anything particularly interesting for us Power Ranger fans to be invested in. So those are my overall thoughts on just the Christmas episodes in general. I'm really curious to know what you guys think. I mean, which are better, the Sentai episodes, the Christmas specials over on Power Rangers, or should they not do Christmas specials at all? I mean, what should Christmas episodes be something mandated, or is it something we can go ahead and skip over? I'm very curious to know what everybody else here thinks. So please leave those comments below. And as a holiday bonus, please leave me your favorite holiday, Christmas special, whatever. I told you guys mine. I definitely want to know yours as well. So again, those are all my thoughts on the matter. I want to thank you all for listening. Have a good evening. Once again, happy holidays. And the tavern is now closed.